Hello everyone, it is Yaroslav and Philosophy Man YouTube channel. Today I want to compare two artifacts of the popular culture, a film Watchmen and the franchise that started from this film, actually from the graphic novel from which the film originates, and the TV show, quite popular TV show on Amazon Prime called The Boys. First of all, I should say that I already have one video about Watchmen. It is in Russian, it is my old video. And my main idea there is that Watchmen, though not being a work of art, is still quite good, as its main aim is providing irony about the classical archetypes of popular culture, superheroes. So we have these archetypes of Batman and Superman, morally accomplished people who, despite having a lot of being in power, being in great superhuman power, do not cross moral lines, have their moral code, and actually they, especially in the period when they originate, 30s, 40s, 50s, they are perfect people. The true paragons. Then it changed a little bit, but not too much for the main heroes. From the silver age of comics, heroes began to problematize different dark sides of life, like drugs, like anti-heroes started to emerge, who actually cross some of the moral lines. And the special attention, which never was given before, was now given to the villains. The problem of society creating villains due to its imperfection and so on. So all the classical tropes that are so popular among young people who often compare themselves not to perfect heroes but to villains more, especially the villains with some dark background and so on. However, Watchmen is the first film, the first graphic novel that actually does not problematize dark sides of life, but rather ironize about the paragons, the initial paragons of the popular culture, and claims that they are not real and therefore they are more harmful than helpful. It is the main power of Watchmen. I should say that I value graphic novel, the source material of Watchmen, more than film. As for the film, I watched it a few times, but I do not, as I said, find it very high art, though it is quite good. It has an idea, and you do not lose your time completely by watching this film. Though it is, of course, caged into the superheroes tropes. As I said, not a high art, but an interesting story. And the second show to compare with is The Boys. It also originates from comic story. I first heard about The Boys watching some YouTube videos, and this video was very dark. It was about sexual violence in comics, and it had a special episode about The Boys, and it analyzed the very famous episode from this graphic novel about gang raping the young superhero girl by her fellow colleagues. It was actually not raping but rather taking advantage of her, but it was very dark. It is also in a little bit censored version in the first season of the show. What I should say, The Boys have a lot of violence and also the sexual violence. It really is successful in problematizing the dark sides of life. But is that good, or is that actually a minus of the show? I would say so. Does The Boys have a nerve? Does it pushes you to the borders of your moral consciousness? Yes. Is that good? Is that actually useful for your knowledge, for your understanding the problem, for people, the society, providing a discourse for that kind of problem? Actually, no. I watched only a few first episodes of the first season of The Boys, and I can say I'm sorry for using the lexics like that, but it's a complete crap. The show is full of violence and sexual topics and uh, indirect violence, like people taking advantage in a moral sense from other people, showing the strict social hierarchy and so on and so on. But instead of bringing some irony to all of that, instead of showing that you attack some stereotypes and you have deep thought behind that, it's just fun service. So people are just killing each other in horrible ways, and so on, so on. In a sense, this show, The Boys, is just a soap opera with a lot of blood and guts in it. And the sense of comparing these two things is that on the same ground, in the same sphere of thought, even with the same idea, you can do a great story and an awful story that actually is a loss of time. Well, that's just my opinion. The Boys is a very popular show. It's sort of one of the main shows on Amazon Prime. But I would say that main show of Netflix, like Stranger Things, is much more interesting and useful, knowledgeable than The Boys. I didn't watch the new show about Watchmen. Probably I will do it in the future, but as for now, I say that Watchmen as a film is and as a graphic novel is far ahead of its competitor. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed my content. Goodbye.